Welcome to a chilling tale of discovery and dread. In this story, you follow me through an eerie journey as my family and I uncover a hidden tunnel beneath our new home. What starts as an intriguing mystery soon plunges us into a realm of darkness and terror. Brace yourself for a narrative filled with suspense and unimaginable horrors. This is my story of the old tunnel beneath our home. As I Saturday in the dimly lit living room, the sound of the old house creaking and settling was oddly comforting. It was as if the house was whispering its secrets to me, secrets that I was about to uncover. My family and I had just moved into this charming but aged home, a place that seemed to hold an air of mystery. Little did we know that mystery was about to reveal itself in the most unsettling way. One rainy afternoon, while exploring the basement, I stumbled upon a loose brick in the wall. It was a minor detail that would have gone unnoticed by most, but something about it piqued my curiosity. As I pried the brick loose, I discovered a hidden doorway leading to a dark, narrow tunnel. The air that escaped from the tunnel was cold and musty, carrying with it a sense of foreboding. My family, initially skeptical, was soon drawn into the mystery. We decided to explore the tunnel together. Armed with flashlights, we descended into the depths of the unknown. The tunnel was old and damp, the walls covered in moss and strange symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. The deeper we went, the more oppressive the air became, and an uneasy silence enveloped us. As we ventured further, the tunnel began to twist and turn in ways that defied logic. It felt as though we were moving through an endless maze, each turn leading us further from the world we knew. The darkness around us grew thicker, and the shadows seemed to take on a life of their own. Strange noises echoed through the tunnel, whispers and distant cries that sent shivers down our spines. Eventually, we reached a chamber at the end of the tunnel. The chamber was vast and cavernous, illuminated by an eerie, unnatural light. In the center of the room stood a towering, ancient statue of a figure I could not recognize. The statue seemed to watch us with empty, hollow eyes, and an overwhelming sense of dread filled the air. As we explored the chamber, we discovered strange artifacts and symbols etched into the walls. These symbols seemed to tell a story, one of an ancient civilization that had worshipped dark and malevolent entities. The more we learned, the more we realized that this place was a gateway to a world far darker than our own. The tunnel had brought us to a realm where nightmares came to life. The shadows twisted and writhed, and the air was thick with an almost tangible malevolence. We encountered beings that defied description, monstrous entities that seemed to be born from the darkest corners of our minds. Our attempts to escape were met with increasing resistance. The tunnel seemed to change, becoming an ever-shifting labyrinth that mocked our every effort to find a way out. Each turn brought new horrors, and our flashlight beams barely penetrated the inky darkness that surrounded us. In our desperate struggle to return home, we faced our deepest fears and darkest desires. The tunnel had become a mirror of our own nightmares, a place where reality and imagination blurred into a nightmarish reality. The experiences we endured tested our sanity and our bond as a family. Eventually, we managed to find our way back to the surface, but the tunnel was no longer the same. The entrance had vanished, as if it had never existed. We were left with the haunting knowledge of the darkness that lay beneath our home, and the terrifying realization that the tunnel had changed us forever. To this day, we cannot explain what we encountered in that underground realm. The house has returned to its quiet, ordinary state, but the memory of the tunnel and its horrors remains with us. We are left with unanswered questions and the lingering dread of the unknown. As we emerged from the tunnel, the once familiar world above felt surreal, like a dream we had just awakened from. The house, now just an old, creaky building, seemed to mock our recent experiences. Yet, something had irrevocably changed within us. We were haunted not just by the images of what we had seen, but by the knowledge that something malevolent still lingered beneath our feet. Days turned into weeks, and the initial shock of our ordeal slowly faded into a haunting memory. But the shadows of the tunnel never completely released us. Each time we descended into the basement, a shiver of dread would ripple through us, as if the darkness we had encountered was waiting, ready to pull us back. One evening, as I was cleaning out some old boxes in the basement, I felt a sudden, cold gust of air. The sensation was so chilling, it almost took my breath away. I glanced at the wall where the hidden doorway had once been, but now it was bricked up as if it had never existed. A sinking feeling settled in my chest. It was as though the house was keeping its secrets from us. The unease grew when my daughter, Emily, began to have nightmares. She would wake up screaming, her face pale and drenched in sweat. She spoke of a dark figure in her dreams, one that seemed to be calling her from the depths of the tunnel. We tried to reassure her, but her fear was palpable, and the nightmares persisted. One night, unable to sleep, I ventured into the basement alone. The air was thick with an almost tangible fear. I approached the bricked-up wall, feeling an inexplicable pull to the spot where the tunnel had been. As I touched the cold, damp bricks, I heard a faint whispering, a chilling echo of voices that seemed to come from nowhere. Suddenly, the wall began to shift and groan, and a sliver of darkness appeared between the bricks. The old tunnel was reappearing, its malevolent presence beckoning us back. My heart raced as I backed away, but the darkness seemed to grow, as if it were alive, pulsating with a life of its own. Desperate to protect my family, I decided to seal the tunnel permanently. I gathered every tool and material I could find, reinforcing the wall and blocking any possible entrance. The task was exhausting, but I had to ensure that the nightmare would never return. Over the following days, I noticed subtle changes in the house. Objects would move on their own, and strange noises would echo through the walls at night. The sense of being watched never left us. It felt as though the darkness we had encountered had latched onto us, refusing to let go. Despite my efforts to protect my family, the experiences had left an indelible mark. Our lives had become a delicate balance between the normal and the unknown. We lived in constant tension, knowing that beneath our home lay a darkness we could never fully understand. Years have passed since that fateful discovery, and the house has returned to its ordinary state. But the memory of the tunnel, that darkness, and the malevolent entities we encountered remains with us. We live with the unsettling knowledge that there are places in the world where shadows hold their own secrets, and that some mysteries are best left undiscovered. This is the end of my story, a tale of an old tunnel, a hidden world of darkness, and the fear that comes from uncovering things that were meant to remain buried. The house stands as a silent witness to our experiences, its walls holding the echoes of our terror and the lingering shadow of the unknown.